Perfect. Hello. I'm so excited for us to be gathering together today. And let me make sure I probably am not, but let's see if I can fix it in case my sound is on Facebook, because as soon as this pops up, yay, it's not. Yay, at least on one screen. Now, who knows about my other screen? You never know what's going to happen, right? I always have something crazy going on. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining me today. My name is Wendy Lee, and you can find me at creativeleeyours.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US, and so happy that you're here with me for a little bit of paper crafting fun today. So let me explain a little bit about what we're doing, maybe a little bit about myself in case you don't know who I am. And then we're going to switch the camera over and we're going to get to our crafty fun. So this will be recorded. I'm going to upload it to YouTube. And if you're on my email list, it will come right to you so that you can watch it at your leisure, right? Let's see. Let's get to my notes, because if I don't follow my notes, I'll be all over the place, right? So again, I'm so happy that you guys are here with me. And I think we have people joining from all over the place. It looks like quite a variety, and I love that. So I don't know what time of day it is where you're at. It's 11:30-ish in the morning, Eastern time for me. I'm in Pufftown, North Carolina. And yeah, so today what we are doing is this is an online workshop, or how I do an online workshop. And so the point is to gather together and share our love and joy of paper crafting, right? We're going to relax a little, have some fun. That's going to release some of our natural endorphins, right? We're just going to be in a really good mood, right? And the best part is you get to share this joy with others by sending your hand stamped cards to them, right? Your handmade cards. I love that. It's one of my favorite things. So let's see. I've been a demonstrator for a little over 20 years. Cannot believe 20 years. And I actually made this my full-time gig in November of 2019. So a couple years. Oh, more than a couple. Right? It's been longer than I thought. So I am doing this as a full-time job. Now, that is not typical of many demonstrators. I think there's a very, very like less than 1% that actually do that. But I do. I'm married to a wonderful man. His name is Mike, and he's super supportive of what I'm doing and all my craziness that I have going on at all times, right? And he has recently, in the past year or so, I call him my shipping manager. So he takes all my packages to the post office for me and brings things home and all that fun stuff. And he makes sure that I have my accounting caught up. Oh, that's the bad part of business, right? I have two grown children that I'm very proud of. My son Chase is in the Navy, and my daughter Reagan works for Perennial Foods. They're both married and have adorable little children that I get to see often, which is one of my perks of doing this as my business. So, so normally somebody would be the host, right? Like a friend would be a host, and they'd have a home party, right? They'd invite their friends over. I would come in and teach paper crafting with what I think are the best products, Stampin' Up, of course. The host would keep all the samples I make, and they would earn host rewards based on all the orders at their party. So today I'm your host, right? Because it's my party, but I'm giving the rewards back in the form of an order special. So I've already posted links to the current catalog. So there's an annual catalog out there. There's a mini catalog out there. There's information on our Sale-A Bration promotion, best promotion in the whole year of Stampin' Up, in my opinion. It's my favorite. So what that is, if you're not familiar with it, is there is an order piece to it. So when you shop and you spend $50 or greater before shipping and tax, you get to choose a free Sale-A Bration freebie. Let's see if I have I didn't even think to grab a Sale-A Bration brochure. Let's see if I have one. Sometimes I have one buried. Oh, I do. I have one. So I never know if I'm really in camera when I do this. Am I in camera? Hopefully I'm in camera. You can see the Sale-A Bration catalog, right? So the Sale-A Bration catalog. Now, there are a few items, like I think they added 10 new items the first part of February. So you'll see those in the online store as additional choices. So there's even more than what's in this little mini, but I'm going to show you several things that are in here as we work today. So that's already posted. So again, every $50 you spend will get you a freebie out of that little mini catalog. And then there is also extra rewards if you join the Stampin' Up family, right? Join my Diamonds team. So there is a glass mat studio. So let me back up. I'm getting ahead of myself. I get so excited about this when they do this. The starter kit is a great deal all year long. And when they add a special to it, it just makes it even better. So the starter kit is $99. You get $125 in the product of your choice. So it's fully customizable. So if you want all ink pads, get all ink pads, right? You order what you want in that starter kit promotion. The great thing going on in Sale-A Bration, at least through the end of February, is you can choose the glass mat studio, which I'm going to be using the glass mat as my base today, so you can get a look at it. If you've got questions about it, you'll ask me questions about it and I'll answer those. It's wonderful. So you can choose that. It's a $60 value. Or if that doesn't interest you at all, you can add 30 additional dollars in free products onto your starter kit. So I love that. Love, love, love that. So that's going on as well. And then I also offer what I call a Sale-A Bration celebration event for all my customers that spend $150 or greater with me during the full Sale-A Bration promotion. A little thank you event. So I send, we spend a couple hours on Zoom having a little bit of crafty fun, and I send them a little packet in the mail and we make some cards and chat and just kind of hang out together. So it's a nice way for me to say thank you for supporting my business. So that's going on as well. So all of that information will be posted or is already posted in the group. If you have any questions, let me know. If you need help with anything, place an order, let me know. Grab your catalogs, have them close with a sticky note, maybe a notepad if you want to take some notes. I have already posted the order special with the host code. There's a link. Use the host code, please. If you use the host code and you place an order, any order, you're going to get a thank you card in the mail from me, right? Let me make sure I'm saying the right thing on the order special. Let me kind of see if I can find it in the group because I know it's posted and I don't want to say it wrong. Yes. So yes, any order is going to get a card in the mail from me, plus the PDF tutorial. So any dollar amount, doesn't matter what you spent. Now, if you spend at least $50, you're not only going to be able to take advantage of Sale-A Bration, but I'm going to send you the Make and Take packet. So it's going to look like this. It's going to have all your cut supplies for your projects, and you'll get the PDF tutorial as well. And of course, then you have this video to support it. If you place an order and need a set of hard copy, like I like to touch my catalog. I like to write in my catalogs. I check off what I buy in hopes that I don't duplicate, but sometimes that still happens. But I like a hard copy. So if you need a hard copy, let me know and I will jump into that. All right. We should switch over to our crafty fun, don't you think? Yeah, let's switch over, right? All right. I am going to switch my video over. Now, I forgot to set up my phone and check my layout. So I might have to do a little bit of adjustment once I switch the camera over. Plus, I've also had my camera doing some crazy stuff where it just auto focuses and zooms in for no reason. So hopefully we will not experience that loveliness today, but we'll see what happens, right? We'll roll with it. All right, here we go. I'm going to switch the camera over. Yay. And let's get our lights on. Let's see what it does when it comes over. Oh yeah, that's not even at all where the camera is supposed to be. So you can see right there, I've got some supplies on the table. How silly is that? So I've got some supplies on the table and I've got a secondary lovely, let's see, what is it called? Computer. Oh my gosh, Wendy, we've got issues. All right, so I'm going to have to do some adjustments. My lovely stand, I was playing with it today trying to get it to go where I wanted it to go. And, it doesn't always do that. So let me get the Facebook group up on my computer here so I can see your comments. Again, apologies for not having that done beforehand. Normally, I would have had that all set up, ready to go. We would be centered. I would be able to see everything. Yeah, not always the case. So let's see. Okay, it's still trying to decide where it wants to go. That's always annoying, right? And we'll see. Do I need to raise my camera up any? Is it going to stay here? It's hard to say. All right, looks like I could raise it up just a smidge. We'll see if it likes that or doesn't like that. We'll see. So this is the stuff I normally do ahead of time that I did this morning, checked it, thought I had everything set up really well, and then my phone battery was low, so I pulled the phone out of the stand. So that didn't help at all. And then I forgot to pull it off of the charger to set it back up for today, right? Okay, let's hope that this doesn't play with me. Ah, you're not getting any sound. Let's see. So let's see if we can fix that if we've got multiple people that cannot hear me. Let's see. You're getting sound. Perfect. So you may have to turn your sound up if you're not getting any sound. And I will tell you that a lot of times Facebook, oh, that's not good. A lot of times Facebook will come in muted. And so you've got to turn the speaker on. So over, at least on my screen on the right, I have a little, looks like a megaphone type thing, speaker, and it's got an X by it, which means it's turned off. So you've got to click that and turn it on. So hopefully the closed captions are coming over, and those that cannot hear me can get the sound working. Okay. At worst case, hopefully it'll be on the replay. So these are the fantastic projects that we're going to make today. Now, let me tell you, you may have seen these projects online, right? They might have been shared by even potentially another demonstrator, right? And that's because I actually created these as part of an online creative convention for demonstrators, which was fantastic. It was a lot of fun. It's one of the perks of being a demonstrator is being able to participate in fabulousness like that, right? Now, these are also the projects that I did for my January team meeting. So I have a meeting. We call it a meeting. It's a fun gathering, right? So we have a team gathering every month. It's optional, of course, and we make it takes every month, and you have the option to participate or not participate in that. So, that's where I got these projects from. And I appreciate that. Oh, good. Closed captioning. That's working. I love that. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. And I don't know why. I think I have the settings all turned on, but we might be at our lunch break, right, at work, and we don't want anybody to know we're watching some paper crafting. I am hoping some of you are actually going to be able to craft along with me, right? Okay. So let's get started with these. Oh, I probably ought to say, so the complete supply list is already out in the Facebook group here. So there's one that's got pictures of the items in case you need to see what those things are. And then there's also just a list view. The list view, well, both of them have links. So you could go straight to my online store, shop, add any of the items you would like to add. And when you look at that supply list, you're like, oh my gosh, that's a ton of stuff. Well, yeah, I used anything I wanted to use in my craft room, right? Because I can. But you can always use what you have. So let me kind of bring in a few things. Oh, good, Tony, I'm back. Perfect. Let me bring in a few things that we're going to be using. So I am featuring the Jungle Pals stamp set. So this is a free item that you can earn during Sale-A Bration with a $50 minimum order. We are going to also use the coordinating dies, which I love that Stampin' Up did dies as well. So the coordinating dies actually you have to place a $100 order to get those for free. Totally worth it. They're awesome. You're going to want to have them. Okay. Then I'm using the Heartfelt Hellos. This is also a Sale-A Bration free item. $50 purchase, you can get this for free, right? Now, you can use any sentiment you want. And so I'm showing that as well. I pulled in the Happy Label stamp set. It's just one of my favorites, right? It's got several just good sentiments that I really like. It seems like my camera is zoomed back in again. Do you guys think it has? I wonder if I should try to raise this up a little bit more. I don't want to make anybody nauseous, but I feel like I could maybe angle this up just a smidge more. You might be seeing my belly. Hopefully not. Hopefully, as I'm raising this up, you are not seeing my belly. I don't like that. All right, let's see if I can get this just a smidge higher. Of course, there's always a delay, and watch, it'll zoom out or something crazy just because I'm raising it. All right, we'll see if this will work. Hopefully this won't make anybody nauseous. And I'm not doing crazy things. Thanks. Slide this over just a smidge. Okay, better. It's better for me. I don't know about for you guys, hopefully. But happy labels. So again, you can use any sentiment stamp set that you want to use. Now I am also bringing in 3 of the papers that you can get for free during our Sale-A Bration promotion. So one of them is the Happy Day. I think it's called Happy Days. Sunny Days makes me happy. Sunny Days designer series papers. Again, that's free with a $50 purchase. We are using the stippled, let's make sure I say the names right, softly stippled designer series paper. Again, free with a $50 purchase. Or I think this is called Well Adorned. Let me make sure. Most Adorned. Okay, so I have none of my names right. So this paper pack here. So we're using 3 of the, what is it, 4 or 5 different paper packs that you can get during Sale-A Bration. So love that, right? So the point being, you can mix and match and use whatever you have, right, in your stash. And if there's, this way you're going to be able to see some things and know if you want them or not, right? All right, so let's start with our first project. We're going to start with this one first, our little sloth. He's so funny. And let me bring in my little card kit here. So I have, so this would be, not my die, but this would be what would be included in your pre-cut kits that I'm going to send out. So your die cutting is done for you, except for what needs to be stamped and colored, right? Because I can't send stamped images. So you would have to do that yourself. But I've already pre-die cut with the Jungle Pals dies. Let's kind of get that out there. The little tree trunk and these little leaves. So we've got 2 little leaf dies in there. So I've already done all of that die cutting for you. So it's all right down in your packet. So let me move that out of the way. All right, so let's see if I can slide that. And why in the world? Oh, so it refocused because I slid that up. Let's see if I slide down if it refocuses down. This is the stuff that makes me crazy when it starts doing this. Okay, so I've got to stay over here so it doesn't refocus on me. Oh my goodness. Well, we'll see how this works. It might not be good, but we'll find out. Okay, so I got my die cut. I've got scrap paper, all my different layers. Now I meant to pull up so that I was telling you these cardstock layers as we go. So let me see if I can grab that and put that on my screen for me. Da-da-da! Okay. Give me just a moment. I meant to pull that up, but this way I can tell you what the measurements are for those of you that want to know, right? Because you might want to be making these. So of course, if you place an order, you're going to get the make and take packet with the tutorial, but I can at least tell measurements as we go, right? Okay, so we are starting off with our 5.5 by 8.5 inch pecan pie, pecan pie, however you like to say it, cardstock. And I'm going to fold this in half for my card base. Okay. And hopefully my focus on my camera doesn't freak out and send me who knows where, right? You'll get to see my whole stamp room possibly today. I'm so glad you guys are here having some fun with me, right? All right, so I am going to add a piece of 3.5-inch by 5.5-inch designer series paper to the front of this card base. So I'm going to do this. Oh, here, gotta love all the tech stuff that likes to disappear on me. I am going to add this with my Stampin' Seal, right? I'm a Stampin' Seal kind of gal. Some people prefer liquid adhesive, and I understand that. I am not that person, right? I like Stampin' Seal. I will use liquid glue. You will see me use it today. I promise I will. However, that is not my preferred. I do not know why this keeps shifting down. All right, let's see if I can do one more adjustment. This is the stuff that happens when you make an adjustment to your setup before you go live, which you probably should not do until you've tested it out really well. That's better. Okay, I think I finally got the camera position better. All right. Okay, so am I doing better in placement? Hopefully it's up a little bit better. I'm going to try to watch that on the screen. It keeps moving on me, so I'm having a little struggle with that. All right, so then I want to take a piece of pecan pie, and I've already die cut this. So this was 2 by 5.5, and I am going to place this on my card front right along the edge here. Now you can slide this up and down. You need it to be 5.5. I went ahead and die cut it with the full piece so you could see it, but we're going to place it and we're going to clip it off. So I'm not going to worry about that, but let's go ahead and put some dimensionals on the back. What's handy are my black ones. So I'm going to start there. I'm just going to put a few dimensionals right on this. And I know that these branches are going to go past the edge here. So I'm going to put just right at the edge of my card base. I'm going to put a dimensional at the top and bottom. That way I know I'm nice and secure on that end. And then these are going to support the branches. Hopefully I'm in camera and it's not refocused on me again. Okay, so I'm going to turn this to the side because that's what works for me. And I'm going to slide this up. I think I'm going to put the bottom, sorry, it grabbed before I was ready. I'm going to put this bottom edge of the die cut to the edge, bottom edge of my card base. You don't have to do it that way, but that's the look I'm liking right this minute. So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to worry about these branches floating in the air. Yes, my camera does have a wandering eye, and I've tried turning it off. See here, we're zooming in again. I've tried turning off what they call center stage. I think it's an issue with the combination of my camera. There was an iPhone update that has kind of wreaked a little bit of havoc with this. So I think it's a combination between my iPhone and Zoom, right? Because I go live through Zoom so that I can do the face and the not face, that kind of thing. So I think that's what's messing with things. And it's driving me nuts. I hope they get it worked out soon because literally it makes me batty. Okay. All right. So now from scraps of paper, I have die cut 6 of these little leaves. So there's 2 leaf dies in there, this type of leaf. There's other ones too, but these leaves that I wanted to use. So I did have to do that 3 times to get all my sets here. But I think it's fast and easy, and I love the texture. You know, hopefully you guys can see the great texture that's on this. I just think it's super nice. So I'm going to put these down, all these down with dimensionals. So let's see if I'm in camera here. I am on my end. Hopefully it doesn't resume on me now. And I apologize for any of the craziness that it's doing. All right, so we've got those leaves there. So let's go ahead and put those down with some dimensionals. Now you can use full-size dimensionals. You can use mini dimensionals if you prefer. I'm going to put big ones definitely on those big leaves, and we'll see if we can use the big dimensional on our smaller leaves as well, if I can fit it on there. It's tight, but it's going to work. So I'm going to stick with these big ones instead of trying to dig out my small ones. All right. Perfect. So we've got those. And then we're going to put these on each of our branches. So I like that the black dimensionals, you know, you can really see when you've got that paper off. So recently I've been doing a little bit of experimenting with the white ones and coloring, like coloring the backing paper with a highlighter, right? So that you can see those little boogers because they end up everywhere, all over the place. So I am just adding these leaves. And so I'm kind of tucking it over the top of that very end of that branch just to kind of secure that in place. The dimensional is not on it, but it makes this look raised without having to put an actual, you know, dimensional or adhesive on it. Is it still refocusing or is it okay? I hope it's okay. All right, so there's my lovely leaves. Super cute, right? I love this. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay, so now I've got a scrap piece of crumb cake. And I am going to stamp this lovely, let me see if I can go up higher here. It keeps wanting to, it's drooping on me. And that's what I don't understand. It wasn't doing that and hasn't done that in a long time. And I have it over exact. Okay, I'm going to do something to see if I can overextend it. So that as it droops, it does it. It stays in camera. Apologies again for that. I don't like to do all this repositioning, but I need to stay in camera for you guys to see. All right, better. Okay, so scrap a crumb cake. I am going to take the little sloth image and my memento ink pad. And I am going to stamp him right on that scrap of paper. Okay. I can clean that later. And then I want to color him. I'm going to use some of my pecan pie Stampin' Blends. And I don't know if you guys are a fan of Stampin' Blends or not. I do like them a lot. And they've taken some practice to get used to, right? So I actually start with the dark blend first. And I like to put just my dark spots, right? Where am I going to put dark? So Stampin' Up put little marks on his fur so we know exactly where some of the dark needs to be. But because he's hanging, I'm going to add a little bit down here. I want to add a little bit in here and a little bit under here. So it looks like his face is, you know, a little more 3D. And maybe we'll do a little bit along this edge here. There is no exact, in my opinion. You do you. And that's why I put a little extra right here as well. Okay, so that's my dark. Now I'm going to take my light pecan and I am going to color in the rest of it. Once I get it colored in, I'm going to kind of blend by going over the top of the two colors. And I like to use a circular motion. Like I can color this in real quick, right? And you're going to see the lines. You didn't so much up at the top, but you will be able to see the lines where the color difference is. So let me do this real quick so you can see that before I do all my overlapping. I'm going to leave his little center part of his face. What is that? His muzzle? I'm going to leave that. So you can see the lines between the dark and light. But to blend that, just go over the top of it with the light, and that's going to blend that out and make that a softer line. Make sense? And I find it changes as it dries. Like this particular one, for whatever reason, sometimes it doesn't and sometimes it doesn't. It's bleeding a little bit on this crumb cake cardstock. I'm okay with that. I think it gives it a soft appearance. But, you know, if you're not okay with that, you might be careful how close to the edge you get if yours is bleeding as well. All right. So I'm going to bring in my baby boss, and hopefully this camera does not go crazy in refocusing. And I am going to build my sandwich. So I've got my plate 1 and my plate 2. and I'll put my cardstock on it. And then I buried, let's see if I can find where I put that little die. Hopefully I have not lost it. Okay, oops. So we're going to put our die right on there. Now, I don't use any tape or adhesive to hold my dies in place, good, better, ugly. I don't like the residue it leaves, and I've had a lot of people, oh, try this, it doesn't leave any residue. I just don't like it, so I'm not doing it. So I'm going to carefully put that on. If it shifts, right? I'm just going to let that go. So I'm going to put this in and crank this through. Now, you're like, wait, you used the wrong plate for the top. So when I'm doing open dies with the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and my camera went off again, I like to use this, what is this, plate 4? Yes, plate 4, which is intended for embossing. And the reason I do that is because when you line up these plates like this, sometimes it's really hard to get it to feed through the machine if these are even, so you've got to offset them. This way I don't have to worry about that. It gives a little less pressure. So if you have a detailed die, it may not cut well, but I find for something like this, it does just fine. So that's, you do you. I don't follow directions always. So I change that up a little bit. Okay. All right. So now I have my little guy, super cute. And I'm going to have him hanging off this branch. Just, you know, he's swinging through the trees there. So we're going to put a couple dimensionals on the back of him. So far, the camera seems to be behaving a little bit better. I'm not getting quite as much sag over time here. Crumb cake has higher percentage of recycled content. Ah, so less polished surface. I love that. I wondered why crumb cake was the one cardstock that did that to me. Great, Jean. You always have some good tips, some good knowledge to share. So there's my super cute little sloth. I love it. So simple. Fast, easy, really, and simple to do. So now we're going to do our sentiment next. Let me come up here. And I am using one of the sentiments from the Happy Labels. It says, life is better with you. Of course it is. How sweet. And I've just got a scrap of crumb cake that I'm going to stamp my sentiment on. Now, I'm finding that the glass mat, that I am not necessarily needing a foam pad underneath my photopolymer stamps. So kind of an interesting occurrence there as well. Jean probably knows why, but it's just such a really great surface. I love stamping directly using it without a foam pad even. So I'm going to fussy cut this out. If you don't like fussy cutting, leave your rectangle and put it on there, but I'm going to fussy cut. And I like to try to keep in the depth of the scissor, right, when you're cutting, because that is I find that it gives me a better cut. And then I try to move the paper instead of the scissor. Now, as you watch me, you're like, she's moving the scissor. Well, I am, but I'm trying to move the paper more than the scissor because I get a smoother cut, right? My lines turn out a smidge better. My shape is a little bit better. So you can leave as much extra cardstock as you want or as little cardstock as you want, right? Like you could really get into following the letters, or you can make it a little more what I would call bubbly, which is kind of generically cutting it out a little bit more so. It's up to you and what look you like and how much patience you have, right? Like I'm not a huge fussy cut fan. But for this, I wanted something just a little bit softer, right? And I just want to place this right down here. So let's see, I'm going to get some minis out. Let's grab these. I don't know where my black ones are, so I'm not going to stress out about that. And we will put some of these. Hopefully I left some spots that are wide enough that I can pop in a dimensional or two. There's one with a little bit of the highlighter on it so I can see the backing paper. Yeah, I'm trying out some new lights as well to see if I can get this all worked out. It seems like whatever upgrade I had last on the phone, or I don't know, maybe it's tech in general, seems to have really messed with my setup overall. Actually, let's kind of see if I can slide that out just a smidge, because I put a dimensional right on this L. And I don't want that popped up. There we go. Oh, totally crooked. Let's see. I was all worried about that edge being caught, and here I put it on completely crooked. We'll try again. I'm trying to tuck that little edge in and have it look like it's on the branch, but maybe it's got to go over to get it straight. That's better. Better, better, better. I'm gonna push that down. I'm going all in. There we go. But yes, so I have been fighting lighting changes. I've been fighting sound changes and the camera with the crazy eye. It's been interesting, frustrating, but interesting. I appreciate all of your patience. All right, so I've got a length of the linen thread. It is about 18 inches or so. I mean, I could measure it. Yeah, it was 9 and 9, 18 inches. Yes, and then I just cut it in half, so I have 2 strands, right? And I'm going to make a double bow, 2 loops, 2 ends on each side. There we go. Now, that doesn't look very good, right? So I'm going to grab my knot. I'm going to pull my ends, make that a little smaller. The reason I'm holding the knot is to keep that nice and tight, right? So it doesn't loosen too much. Whoops, wrong one. That's the loop I want, okay? And then I can pull it nice and tight and just kind of work that until I'm happy with how that looks. Now, I'm going to leave my ends long. Let's see if it's too much. I actually kind of like it hanging out like that. It will still fit in the envelope, but maybe I'll trim it down a little bit. It's not too terribly crazy. Trim off a little bit there. But I actually like it a little long. It'll fit in the envelope just fine. So I'm going to put that on with a glue dot, which I call boogers, for those that know me. All right, and we will just slide that right in underneath that sentiment. So stinking cute, I think, right? Simple. You know, I love the texture of that paper in the background there. It adds a nice touch to it. But, you know, there's multiple prints you can use. Oh, there goes the camera refocusing again on us. And I am using Bloomin' Pearls today. So these are actually a carryover item. And I've got a whole pack in there. We'll pull out some of our bits and see if we've got bits to do what we want. If we don't, then I can pull out the whole pack. But I've got a whole pack in here as well, or almost. And so these are Bloomin' Pearls. These were a carryover from our holiday catalog. So I don't think they're in the mini catalog right now that I remember. You'll have to check the online store, but you can get those. And I did have them in the supply list, so I think you can still get to them. So there is Pretty Peacock, Gold, Garden Green, and I think I'd have to look it up, but I think that was supposed to be Flirty Flamingo. Although the colors, because of the iridescence in these, the colors aren't exact. They coordinate, if that makes any sense, right? So I'm going to use these little garden green ones. It looks like I've got some out, so we'll just go ahead and grab some off of here. So I've got some little ones on there and some big ones on there. And I am just going to sprinkle on, actually, you know what? I think I'm going to use the peacock ones, not the garden green. Even though my leaves are garden green, I think it's still going to look good. We're going to try it. We'll use the garden green on a different one. All right, so I'm going to grab a big peacock one, put it there. It looks like I don't have any little ones out, so we'll grab this other sheet. We'll sprinkle on a couple of small ones as well. Put one up there, and maybe we'll put one right there. Super cute. Super, super cute. All right, so I'm going to try to move these down so that we have them for the next cards and we don't have to get them out completely again. And hopefully it doesn't totally crazy yeah, it's still refocusing and moving around because it doesn't know what I'm doing because I'm all over the place probably. All right, so we've got the front of our card done, super cute. And then I like to bring the design to the inside. So I'm just going to put a little strip of this designer series paper. You can see the stippled on the back there. I bet you anything I'm going to run out of Stampin' Seal. I just saw that that's red, really close to the edge. So let's leave a little white edge. I don't know if I did that on the original. We'll look in just a moment and see if I changed it or if I didn't. And then we will go ahead and get this down to the inside. And then card 1 is done. Once and done. So for my team meeting, I try to make the projects a little simpler, right, than what I might do for Forget-Me-Not. So Forget-Me-Not is my avid card club. So I did take the attitude of, let's see if we did that. Oh, I put it on the other side on this one versus the outside of this one. And this one I left the white edge. But Forget-Me-Not, I can use anything in my craft room that I want to use. It's about fun fold and techniques and things like that. And so it is fun. It is for my avid crafters for sure. And there is information if you're interested in finding out more. There's information posted in the group about it. And then if you take the aspect of cultivated creativity, which is my DIY subscription program, those actually focus on a featured set of products, right? Like we curate the kits, we pick out the paper and the gems and the ribbons if we're going to use them, and put that together. And we have a featured bundle, and we stick with those products for all the projects, right? So it's a little different animal, and those cards tend to be a little bit simpler as well. Still wanting to refocus on me. All right, so card 1 is done. We'll get faster as we go. So let's go ahead and move in for card number 2. So we are going to do our super cute little tiger next. All right, so for this one, let me kind of get my cheat sheet out here. We are pulling in, our card base is going to be a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of pebbled path. Let's bring that in. Of course, my camera has decided to die again. There we go. And we are going to fold this in half just like we did on the first one, right? Standard letter size card. Okay. Oh, yeah, it looks like it zoomed out again. Oh, nope, now it's coming back in. Oh my goodness. I'm going to try putting this card over on this side, up in this corner. Maybe that will help with some of that. Maybe it won't. Let's see. Maybe I can put it right. I got too much stuff. Okay. And if I work here, maybe it'll stay in. We'll see how it goes. All right. So we've got that. Next, I want to go ahead and put my piece of designer series paper. So this is 5.25 by 4. And so again, this is from that softly stippled designer series paper pack that you can earn for free. So who would have known that I'm using a technically floral paper for the backgrounds of these? I just love all the texture, right? And they're such neutral, fun colors. All right, next, we've got 3 strips of pebbled path, and I've already added texture to them. So they're 1 inch by 3.25. So I've added texture with the Fern 3D embossing folder. So I love our embossing folders, especially our 3D embossing folders, because they give such great texture. So definitely one of my faves. You guys love those as well? All right, we are going to go ahead and put dimensionals on the back of each of these strips and adhere this to our card base. So you can use white dimensionals, black dimensionals, whatever makes your heart happy. And you know what? I think I'm going to double them up. It might be excessive, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm running out of dimensionals on this sheet, so I'm going to use the edges as well. But I want to use the middles first. So have you guys played with this stamp set yet? The Stamp and Die bundle? Do you have it already? Is it on your wish list, or was it something you didn't want and now you're thinking, I might need to get this one? So I'm just going to cut along these edges. I'm going to use 100% of my dimensional sheet. I hope you guys do this as well. Don't throw this away. It's gold. If you're going to throw it away, send them to me. I will use them. I use every little bit of it. So then I can kind of slide those in. I'm excessive with these dimensionals, but like overly excessive on this project, but I'm doing it anyway. Makes my heart happy. It's all about crafting joy right now. I'm having a good day. I'm hanging out with some crafty friends. All good, right? All right, now when I lay down strips like this, first of all, I have to turn my cards sideways because it just works better for me. And I'm going to place the ones on the ends first, right? Here goes the refocus. Good grief. I don't know if it's because it wants you to see my trash can. I do not know. All right. So I'm going to start off and I am going to put one on the end here. So I am placing this centered top to bottom and yeah, I don't know, about a half-ish inch away from the side. Yeah, Colleen, you use a lot of dimensionals as well. Yeah. They're inexpensive as well. Everything's expensive, right? But they're inexpensive as far as the various different crafting supplies. And to me, they make such a difference. So I love them. I use them freely without concern. All right, so I'm gonna place this one down. Now I'm not gonna push that down just yet because I'm gonna put my third one in and it's gonna fall in the middle-ish, right? Things aren't perfect when we're handcrafting projects. Now I could totally use this grid as a guide and get things a little more even if I'd like to. But I'm just gonna place this down. And so this way, if I look at this and I'm like, I feel like I need it to be a little closer together, or I want to shift one or the other, I can do that. I can do that at this point if I want to. I'm pretty pleased, even though I think this one is a little bit higher. Should I pop it off? Let's see if I can do it with that. Even though I didn't push it down, it's sticking pretty darn good already. I think this one's slightly higher than the others. So I'm going to see if I can smidge it down just ever so slightly. Okay. That makes me feel better. All right. So now I'm going to push them down. You don't like the dimples where you don't use them? Yeah. So another thing you could do, I shared this on my Instagram, I think yesterday, is you could stack paper. So we've got all kinds of scraps of paper, right? So you could easily take some scrap paper and build the height by layering multiple layers of paper for things like this, if you'd like. Or our foam adhesive like sheets, like here's a piece of one. They come about that big and it's the full sheet is foam. So you can put it behind something and then cut it out. It works great for die cut elements that you're going to pop up. Okay, so let's do, you know what? I think I used Pebbled Path ink on this one instead of Memento. Let me grab that because I did not grab that. And of course, it's on the way other side of the room. Not that far away, really. But if it's not in the bin, I will have to find it, which means we might just be using Memento because I don't know where it is. Okay, it's not all these things. I thought I had it pulled out and ready to go. Let me check one more time. Nope, it's there. I found it. Yay. I was going to say, we'll just go with Memento if we need to, right? It's a good staple color. All right. Pebbled Path ink pen. And I am going to stamp. I'm using the Happy Labels stamp set again. And I'm going to stamp this over to the far right. We'll see if I get this straight. It's hard for me to see with the camera set up if I've got things straight. Oh, yeah. And I got a nice deep color on it. That's perfect. We'll move this out of our way. And this out of our way. You should see the mess I'm making. The pile of things that I have going on right now is a little crazy. All right, so this is where I'm going to pull in my liquid glue. Normally, I would put adhesive on the back of this strip, but because I am adhering it to these tabs here on the front of my card, and I want to make sure I don't have crazy adhesive all over the place, I am going to do it this way. So I'm putting them on there. I'm going to lay this down. And you can center it left to right if you'd like to. That's what I'm doing. And I've got it towards the bottom. So I've kind of got similar spacing on the sides as I do the gap here going on. And I'm trying to get it straight. So that's going to take a moment to dry, but that's okay. We've got some other parts to talk about. So I've already die cut my grass. So this is from the Jungle Pals dies. And a couple of these leaves out of some scraps of Mossy Meadow, okay? So I can go ahead and put these leaves down if I want to. I can wait. I'm gonna wait, actually, for those. And then I can go ahead and put this one down if I'd like to. And I think I'm going to. I'm going to go ahead and just put adhesive along the very bottom of this edge. Are you guys enjoying this? I hope you are. I hope you're able to take time and just relax. Is anybody crafting with me? Are you making something? Maybe you're trying to make the same projects I'm making. You could be. So I just put glue on the very bottom of that edge. Now, you could pull it down just a bit if you don't want everything also lined up. My original is down a little bit. This one looks like it's going to stay where it's at. And I purposely did not put anything behind these leaves just yet because I want to put that tiger walking through the grass, right? So let's work on our tiger next. So I've got a scrap piece of pumpkin pie. Let's see, what did I cut this? I cut this 3.5 by 2.25. Granted, you can use whatever you've got, right? If it fits, it works. And I've got our lovely tiger. Now, anytime I use this block, it's a little big for my hands. So I like to take the ink pad to the stamp versus the stamp to the ink pad because I have trouble holding on to this size. I will tend to drop that more times than not. And that's never good, right? All right. So we are going to lay this guy right on our layer. I think I'm going to do him crooked. That way I know I have him on there. Nice. Now, if you were worried about getting a good stamped edge on this, you could set this up on your stamp positioning tool. I'm going to bring my baby boss back in here. Somewhat in camera, hopefully. Again, put my plates in, put my tiger down, put my die on. Oh, I guess I could have colored him first. Sometimes it's easier to color before you die cut, but I'm already in, so we're just going to do it. I'm not going to let it stress me out. All right, there we go. Hopefully I placed that carefully enough. And we'll crank that through. The stupid camera went off again. All right, move this out of our way. And this is die cut out. So I've got my cute little tiger. Shifted a little bit on me, not too bad. If that happens, you can either take a deep breath and let it go because it's paper and it's really not that big of a deal. Or if it does make you batty, and I know that it does, there are days that makes me crazy. Just fussy cut it away if it bothers you, right? If it's really that bad, just take it away from your problem, right? It's okay. Just watching. Going to do some cards later. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So I am taking some dark pumpkin pie and I am just adding a little bit of highlight of color onto here. So I'm pumpkin on pumpkin. Now I know as it dries, it's going to fade a little bit. It's going to leave some lines as well because I'm not blending it out, but I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I'm leaving it. I'm going to just be happy with that. Now, if that drives you nuts, use your color lifter, which I did not grab. I can, and I can show you what I mean if you'd like to see it. You just need to let me know. But I am just putting some dark pumpkin pie just to give them a little extra color. Maybe I'll put a little bit down these little tiger stripes, right? Just kind of offsets them a little bit. It's just another way to go about it. You know, sometimes we look at these line type images and we don't use them as often as we might like to because we dread the coloring, right? There's days when we might be in the mood to color and there's days that you just don't have time for it, right? You've got places to be, things to do, but you still need your crafting time, right? You need your time, for you, right? I'm going to color his whole belly. That's probably opposite what I should do, but I'm doing it. It's my mood right now. Again, I'm highlighting these little tiger stripes and giving him a little color just right on the edge. Now, as it soaks into the paper, it lightens up quite a bit, but you can see on my original, hopefully you guys can see that, there's still lines, right? You can still see those lines. So again, if that bothers you, get your color lifter. And just like we talked about with your light blends, just color over the top of it, right? And kind of blend that line out a little bit. I like it. I like it. And this is a great way to add a little touch of color without going too crazy on color, and it doesn't take you a lot of time. So maybe we'll use our lovely line stamps a little more often. So I'm going to tuck him back in here. How stinking cute is that? And I can angle him if I want to. I'm going to angle him up a little bit just so his tail looks like he's just kind of entering that little bit of the jungle, right? All right, so this is why I waited on my leaves. I wanted to see where it was going to fall behind his head. So I'm going to get some liquid glue. I know, the dreaded liquid glue. So Kathy, you said you always watch first and then gather your supplies and stamps and rewatch as needed. Makes sense. Sounds like you've got a really good plan. Did you guys notice the samples that were behind me when I was face on camera? Did you notice all those lovely samples I had behind me? If you didn't, you'll have to check them out in the replay. That is my first presentation for Maker's Mojo. So Maker's Mojo is our creative escape. It is a 2-day online crafting retreat. I didn't put information about it in the group, but I will. After we're done today, I'll share some information in there. But it's a 2-day crafting retreat, and it's a lot of fun. So really, those of you that have joined me for that before could probably tell you more about it than I even do. But it's 10 live presentations. I'm one of 5 demonstrators. I'm just tacking him down with some dimensionals here. So I put one behind his head, and I think I'm going to put one behind his little legs here. I have to be careful because there's no space here. So I'll either have to double up dimensionals to put it there, or, would this have been easier to do before I put this down? Of course it would have. But then it's, not normal crafting. Do you guys ever do this like this, or do you always have it all planned out? I never have it all planned out. Even when I think I have it planned out, it's not planned out, right? Now, if that bothers you, tack that down. You could put a dimensional on it. You could put a little liquid glue on it. Let's go in for a little liquid glue. It is kind of bugging me a little bit. I like the height of it, but it's a little too wingy. There we go. I'll just tack that down and it won't be too crazy. But anyway, it's 10 presentations. We each do 2, and we teach a project, kind of like I'm teaching 4 projects today. I would teach a project, and my so what about whatever the project is, right? Oh, let's refocus. Oh my goodness. At least it does it slow, so it's not so nauseating, because I can only imagine how it would be if it was not that way. But anyway, I'm going to use Garden Green on this one and put some little pearls on here. But we do, like I said, 10 presentations. I would teach this, and then I would have a stack of alternates. So what you saw behind me is not only my presentation sample, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 alternates that I've got already created using what I'm teaching. Could end up with more before the event is here. It's next weekend. It's next Friday and Saturday. I'm so looking forward to it. It is so much crafty fun, and our guests make it so special because they share tips with you, with each other, right? We share tips, but our community shares tips as well. All right, let's do our inside. So you've got your white layer and your designer paper. I looked this time to make sure I didn't mess it up. All right, so we've got this is 5 1/4 by 4, and then this is a 3/4, double check. Yeah, 3/4 strip of designer series paper. So again, this is from that stippled pattern paper. That down. So I've done the insides of these, but I've kept them. Oh, am I out? I might be out. Let's pull in our silicone craft sheet. So anytime I can't get my Stampin' Seal to run, just run it on your silicone craft sheet. It will restart it. Yep, worked great. But I'm almost at the end. So this is gonna die like in a swipe or two. I'm gonna have to go grab another one. Refill. I don't think I have one in my stash on this cart. Maybe I do. We'll look. All right, and we're gonna put our inside in. So that is project number 2. I don't know if I'm getting faster or not. Hopefully I am. I might be just talking too much, right? All right, I don't see one. Let me grab a seal refill. I could grab another cartridge if I got, actually, I have one that's, I can just grab the full cartridge and go a little faster. That way I'm not taking up so much of your time. All right, good to go. Ready for card 3? Yes, you like this one too? Good, good, good. Yeah, and I think you could change your color so much. I think this stamp set would make, like, I've made all these kind of masculine in a way, but you could make these like with soft colors and make baby cards out of them. Like, I think the hot air balloon, what is it? Lighter Than Air designer series paper. You guys know which one I'm talking about? It's one of my absolute favorites. We're actually featuring that in this month's Cultivated Creativity paper crafting kits. But this paper here, if I can get that in camera, this right here, I think this would make beautiful cards with these little jungle pals, right? Little soft. You could do baby cards. Be so great. Maybe I wouldn't put the hot air balloon behind it, although maybe you would. I don't know. But there's so many great prints, soft colors. It'd be fun, I think. So you guys, as you make these projects, you'll have to share them in this group so we can see what you used from your crafty stash to make it. All right. That's the last one. I don't need that quite yet. Let's grab this one. All right. So our next one we're going to do is we're increasing our level of difficulty, I think, as we go here, just slightly, pulling in some different techniques. So that one there, this is not a difficult one, really. So we're going to do a crushed curry card base. We're changing this up a little bit. We're doing 4¼ by 11. And we're going to create our own background. And then this paper is from the Sunny Days Designer Series paper pack. And then this sentiment is from our Heartfelt Hellos. So that is free with a Sale-A Bration qualifying order. So it's this one, the stamp set that we're using, the dies we're using. So many good things. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, so the pack would look like this when you get your package. Love it, love it, love it. So let's see if we can move that out of the way. And hopefully this doesn't refocus on me. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give that a good crease with my bone folder. Again, my lovely camera went off. And the first thing I want to do is I want to stamp the background of this. So I am going to use the sentiment and I am going to stamp. And did I grab crushed curry ink? I did not grab crushed curry ink. It's right here. I have it just sitting on the other side of the table, stacked, ready to go. I just didn't grab that stack. Okay, I got it. I got it. I got it. Now I'm going to see if the grid helps me with this one, right? With the stamping. I'm going to kind of angle it and see if I can use this grid to help me with this stamping. So you can have it really angled or you can do it slightly angled. Maybe let's do something like this. And I just realized my chamois is not in this room. My chamois is still at the sink. So I'm going to hold this down. And again, I'm using my grid to kind of help me make this straight. But I also can't see over top where I'm stamping. But, you know, it is what it is. We'll do the best we can. So I don't really even need to do the center of this, right? Because I'm going to cover that up with designer series paper. So I'm using this grid as a guide as I work my way across. There we go. I'm going to go get the chamois or a paper towel if I've got one handy. Here's a washcloth. My chamois is sitting in the sink. I went to, it came with the glass mat. So the glass mat studio has its own little chamois. It's a little larger than our standard chamois. And it is thinner, so it gets wet really, really quickly, and it's used to clean this glass because you can stamp, as you can see, right on this glass. But if you're doing that and getting ink on it, you got to be careful about that part of it, right? So I wanted to make sure I was still in camera as I move this up. I'll move my ink pad over here, see if I can move that, because I don't know if this is going to refocus on me. So we'll see if we can stay in camera, if it lets us, right? Okay, so now Ooh, it changed my angle. And I'm kind of moving where I'm placing the stamp, like how much of the words are showing. And the reason I'm doing that is because I want to make it look like it was cut out, right, of a printed piece of paper. Let's go way over on this one. So we actually have to stamp it twice because I feel like I'm mimicking that same spot over and over as I work my way down. Okay, let's do the same thing over here. We're going to come way over. And because we've got all this going on our card, I don't even think I'm going to see that when it comes time to decorate. So I'm not going to worry about that. And let's see if we can do this one down low. And then do another one across here. Yeah, it's working out, right? All right, not too bad, I don't think. Did it make sense? And the grid actually really helped, I thought. Oh, you didn't like this little toucan guy? Well, sometimes the face, I'll be the first to admit, sometimes the faces on some of these things are a little creepy, right? Have you guys thought about that on some of our stamp sets? Some of them are so cute, and some of them are just a tidge bit creepy, in my opinion. We had a Santa a few years ago that I was just like, oh, that would give me nightmares. But I think these, depending on the colors you use and how you put this together, can be super nice, right? I think I'm going to grab that chamois because I do need to clean this stamp because I'm going to change colors and use the same sentiment for that little banner piece. Let the water out of the sink because it's been sitting in water. This way I can show you the chamois, and I make sure my surface is nice and clean. So this is the chamois. So it's thin. Mine's stained a little bit, but it comes with the Glass Mat Studio. So you have what you need. So you can get all that little yellow tinge off. I don't know if you guys could see that, but I can see it on my end. Let me dry it real quick since I have that extra cloth here. And this was a little more moist than I had intended it to be. But we're going to use it to go ahead and clean. You know, I can clean my stamp just like I would with our regular chamois. Now, I am a person that typically uses scrub and mist versus a chamois. I only use my chamois, well, in moments like this, of course, or I like it for my stamp positioning tool. But I don't typically use it on my day-to-day stamping because I just prefer the scrub and mist. Just the kind of gal I am. Well, Kathy, I hope that you end up liking this little guy. All right, so we're stamping our sentiment in pebbled path. Hopefully I'm somewhat straight on my block here. We'll find out in just a minute, won't we? Not bad. I'll take it. It might not be perfect, but it's not bad. We're going to go with it. Okay, so let's go ahead and layer our designer series paper right on our card front here. Get this back in my window. So our designer series paper is, where is it? 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. So it's not a size that lets you maximize your paper, but it's a really nice size for a focal, to back up my focal point. So it's a little larger. And this is the Sunny Days designer series paper. Just love it. Just love it. It's a happy card. Makes me happy. All right, so we wanted to find our white dimensionals. We don't want to put black on the back of this white sentiment here. That would put me over the edge, I think, if I could see that through or see through that. Still in camera. Okay, good. Has the crazy focusing gotten better? It's hard for me to watch that 100% while I'm doing. I just look up and all of a sudden it's in a different place. So hopefully it's not too bad. Oh, good. You're beginning to like it. Good. All right. So let's place this. I'm eyeballing this. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm centering more or less left to right and towards the bottom. Am I straight? I think I'm crooked. Let's see if I can pop that up before I push it down. Just a bit. I'm gonna do it upside down because I actually can see a little bit better. And looks like I had some moisture from the chamois on my surface here that I didn't get. So I'm just gonna blot that. No one will know. It's fine. But I had a little moisture that I didn't get wiped off. All right. Now let's work on our little collage. So 2 more leaves. These are in garden green that we die cut with our little jungle pals. I've got a little flower out of pumpkin pie. And then we've got to make our little guy here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put my leaves down. Might as well. Let's get these all in place. And then we'll stamp our little guy and we'll do our flower. Okay. So I'm going to put some liquid glue on the end. And I think I'm going to grab a mini dimensional for my flower. We'll just put that right in the center. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. We'll come back to that one. I'm going to go ahead and put my leaves down. How about there? That looks nice. And then how about, let's do that one like kind of like that. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my flower on too. Might as well. It doesn't hurt anything. And we can kind of put it at the base of those flowers. Cute, cute, cute. And so then I just need to make my little birdie. So little memento ink. And my guy. Now, normally I don't like to die cut on camera. I usually pre-die cut all of these. Like I would stamp an extra set. I did not do that today, as you can see. Oh, you know what? I didn't tell you the measurements. This piece of white right here is 4 inches by 1 1/4. This strip right here. And these are scraps. And then this is just a scrap, but you could cut it 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 if you want a measurement, an exact measurement. And let's grab our mini boss again. Bring that back in camera. And get our plates. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, put those in. Put our cardstock down, which I know I'm not in camera. Okay. And then place our little, oh, I should have colored him first. I forgot. That's all right. We'll cut it and color after. Okay, hopefully it didn't shift too bad. Cranking it through. Keeping my fingers crossed. Ooh, it looks like it did good. Yay! Oh, that was my best one yet. I like him. All right, move these out of the way again. Okay, so it is easier to color, at least I think, if I do it before I die cut, but these aren't too bad. So I'm going to take my black. This is my, let me make sure I'm on camera. Yes, my dark black Stampin' Blend markers. Now you can use regular markers for this. There's these images, it's so small and I'm just coloring it black. I'm not putting any shading. You could, but it's so small. I find that the larger the image, the easier it is to actually shade with our Stampin' Blends. But these small images, ooh, they're hard. And I use the bowl tip. To me, that's the tip that makes the most sense for me. I started off with the brush tip when I first got mine. And I actually started with the lighter color first and then went to the darker. And I actually went to an event, a Stampin' Up event, right? Demonstrators, we get to do all that fun stuff. And I went to a Stampin' Up event and Wendy Cranford actually taught a blends class at one of Brian King's events. and I learned so much from her. And so I totally changed the way I use my blends. All right, so I have light pumpkin pie. I'm just going to do a quick coloring on this end. Now you can use any kind of fun colors, right? You can make it more realistic or not, right? Depending on your mood and what you want to do here. And then I'm going to use dark pumpkin for the end of his beak here. And then in the middle, I'm going to put dark. I'm just going to do a quick brushing of dark. And then I'm going to color over the top of it with the light. And it's going to kind of change that color just a smidge. So it kind of gives me a third color, if you will. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you guys can see, right? There's slight variation. You see it? Slight variation of color when you do that. Cute. All right, so let's go ahead and pop him on here. Why not? Let's use some dimensionals. So let's put him on his body down low. I may have to pull out minis. I can get a big one there, but let's see if I can put a mini on his tail feather. The reason I'm doing that is because up here on his head, and I can do this. I'll go ahead and do this as well. Because this layer is popped up, this layer would need 2 dimensionals for him not to be all janky, crooked. So I'm going to do that. We'll put one. Might as well take the backing papers off while I'm there. And then I'm going to stack a second one right just on his head, right? Because his head is hanging off the end of that sentiment. Is that making sense to you guys? I sure hope so. So we're popped up and popped up. So I had to double pop here. Makes it an easy way to build that up. Super cute. Super, super cute. All right, so let's add some gems. Let's do gold this time. So even though the colors might not 100% match in the gems, they coordinate really nicely. So I'm going to put a large one in the center of that flower. And because I only have one small one left here, I'm just going to put one small and one large. My original has 2 smalls, but I don't think it matters. Cute, 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 cute. I did a better job coloring on this one. Perfect. Good, it does make sense. Yay, I'm glad it does. All right, how did I do the inside? Let's look. So just a little strip of designer paper on the inside of this one as well. I'm gonna go ahead and take that card away. And we've got one more after this, and it's my favorite. All right, so the Sunny Days paper. So this is directional, so you have to watch your little sunshines and which direction you've got them oriented. Oh, it's zooming out. That's nice. I looked up and saw it zooming. I don't know. I don't know. This camera stuff, enough to put me over the edge. All right, and we'll put our layer on the inside here and all finished. So you could bring your stamping to the inside as well. I just wanted to keep these pretty fast and easy. They have a nice focal point with a little bit of a wow or technique or trying something different on each one, but keeping it simple so that you could easily make a stack of cards if you wanted to, and it doesn't take you 12 hours, right? Okay, last one, my favorite. There it is my lovely alligator. Isn't he super sweet? I think this would make a fun Valentine for sure. And we're gonna do a little bit of a fun fold here. Did I grab, I do have my Simply Scored. Did I already score this? I did not. So let's grab our Simply Scored. You could use a paper trimmer. You do not have to use a Simply Scored, but it's easier to show on camera, I think. Let me set my markers. Let me get my cheat so I can give you guys measurements. Hopefully I'm remembering to give you measurements on everything. Okay, so we are going to score this at 4 1/4 and 7 1/4. Let me bring this in. All right, so I'll move that out of the way. Bring in my Simply Scored, and I've got a whole bunch of stuff at the other end that it's wanting to sit on. So we'll see how that plays out. Move this stuff to the side. And I've got my real red card base. So it's just 8.5 by 5.5. And again, we're going to score 4 1/4 and 7 1/4. So I'm going to use my little tool here. Now, do you ever have problems with this like jumping out of the The grooves, I do. So I found if I position my body straight in front of where I'm scoring versus off to a side, I do much better. And sometimes I'll switch. There's two different size balls. I typically will use the larger ball on designer series paper because I don't put as much pressure on it then because it's thinner, it can tear easier. And I find I don't put as much pressure with the big ball, and the little ball I do. But I will sometimes try it with one, and if I don't like it, I'm having trouble with it, I will switch to the other end. It really doesn't matter. It's a personal preference, in my opinion. Now you'll have some people that'll say, if you're going to fold it a different direction, you need to flip the cardstock over because you should, fold with the crease. I fold with that's where I scored. I'd fold it this way with the crease out. But some people say, no, you need to do it the other way. Some would say, if I'm going to fold this way and this way, which is exactly what I'm going to do, that I needed to flip that over and score it the other way. I just don't worry about it. I'm not seeing a huge difference one way or the other. So I just go with the flow. So if it bothers you, flip it. But we're Z folding this one. Okay, so we're going to make Z. Make sense? Baby Z? Sloth and the alligator are your faves? Yeah. All right, I'm going to give this one more crease. Arthritis is getting me a little bit today. Okay, perfect. So let's do our designer series paper first. So we've got a piece that this is from that adorned, most adorned paper. So this is the one that's got the fun red and flamingo prints on one side and then the gold fabulous prints on the other side. So I've got a strip of 2-inch by 5.5-inch designer series paper, and I'm going to adhere that to this panel here. Okay. Now I did the measurement at a paper saving measurement, right? It's not going to cover this whole panel because there's no reason to do that. So I'm going to go all the way over to my edge and lay this down. Okay. And then on this panel, I'm going to adhere a 1 1/4 by 5.5-inch strip of designer paper. I'm going to go right along that edge. There we go. All right. Now, I'm choosing to close this permanently. So I'm going to put some dimensionals and hold that back. You could use Stampin' Seal if you prefer, but I'm going to do dimensionals. But that's why I cut this shorter. There was no reason to waste another inch of paper when I'm going to close this over the top of it. So it's just a way to save a little bit of your supplies, get a little bit more out of your supplies, right? So hopefully that helps you. Tips like that. I'm going to do 4. I know that's excessive, but because this is kind of giving me my edge. Normally I would just do 3, but I'm going to do 4. All right, so that is my fold back right there. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay. And again, I'm going to have to replace this computer, I think. It keeps going off, which I don't like. Oh, we're going to zoom in for no apparent reason. Okay, you guys tell me why it zoomed in. I do not know. It makes no sense to me. All right, let's grab our white strip for the inside. So on the inside, let's see, it is, I think it's 2 3/4, but let me double check. Yes, 2 3/4 by 5.5. I've got a strip of white, and I'm going to put it right inside so that you don't see it from the outside. So let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment on there first, just in case I mess it up and have to flip it over. So this is another one from the Heartfelt Hellos. I'm going to use Memento Black. Oh, and we're going to zoom in on that. Wow, that zoomed out really wide that last time. Okay, again, I can't really see where I'm stamping. Oh, I like that. That turned out. I love that nice bold hello. Just makes me happy. Happy, happy, happy. All right, so let's go ahead and put that on the inside. And then we'll be done with the inside. You could add more to the inside if you wanted, but I didn't on this one. I left just the white. I say that. Let's double check and make sure that is what I did. I think I just left the white strip. Yeah, just the white strip, because you're seeing part of the inside and outside together there. So I decided not to go too crazy with that. All right, so there is our lovely Lovely, lovely card front. So we've got quite a few die cuts. So let me bring these in. So this one took a little more time to cut because of all the parts and pieces that I wanted to do, which is okay, right? It's all good. So I have got a couple of flowers in white scraps that I die cut, and that's with the Jungle Pals dies. A couple of leaves in Granny Apple Green out of some scraps, Jungle Pals dies. And then this grassy image in both Granny Apple Green and I believe, is that Parakeet Party or Lemon Lime Twist? So that's Lemon Lime Twist cardstock. So those are all cut from the Jungle Pals. Then I pulled in my Give It a Whirl dies. I love these. I use these little elements in here all the time. And I did this small, actually it's kind of the medium heart in this one. There's a smaller one, but I use these all the time, whether I'm making whirl cards or not, which I've made several whirl cards. I do really like them. All right. And then I've got a piece of Balmy Blue that I die cut the second largest label. And this is from the Nested Essentials. Nested Essentials? Yes, Nested Essentials dies. So that's going to give us a little background. And then we need to make our lovely alligator. So let's go ahead and stamp. We'll move these out of our way. We're going to stamp in Memento Black. This time I'm going to remember to color before I die cut. Yeah, I love this designer series paper as well. It's really nice. And, you know, it doesn't have to be Valentine, right? Like I look at this alligator, it could be Valentine, right? But I didn't put a Valentine sentiment on it, but I could, and this could totally be a Valentine. But sending somebody a card, oh my gosh. Focus down here. Focus down here. Come on. Come on. Come on. There we go. Good grief. Because it's so great to send somebody a card just to let them know that you're thinking of them, that you love them. I think this is a good card for that. All right. Grab this out of the way. And I'm going to pull in my Granny Apple Green. Make sure that's what I've got. Yes, Granny Apple Green blends. So I'm going to start with the dark one. And again, Stampin' Up design artists have given us some spots to put some dark, these little, and I'm not going to take a lot of time and do a lot of detail. I'm just going to scribble in some dark in those spots. Okay. Now I also want to add some highlighting, right? So I want to put a little bit of dark right under his mouth there, right? So it looks like that's below. Actually, I may color in a little bit more dark on that. We'll just go dark all the way down there. And then I want to kind of go under his chin, right? Coming out to his back, maybe a little bit right here, show that his leg is behind, maybe a little bit right here to show the leg is in front, a little bit the leg is in behind, leg is in front, leg is in front, and then of course his tail, it's going to blend off to nothing. So that's where I'm putting my dark. Again, you put it wherever you want to put it, right? Hey, Joanne, so glad you were able to jump in. All right, so now I'm going to take my light Granny Apple Green, and just like we did before, I'm just going to go ahead and run the color all the way over him. And then we'll do our blending. So I'm just going to lay down a layer of color. And there's a pretty big difference. Like some of the blends, the light and dark are very similar in color. And some of them are not, right? Some of them have a big difference. I think this one is one that has a pretty good difference between the light and dark. Lay down that color. If I can do it without coloring his eyeballs green. I don't want to color his little white, his pearly whites, right? This is why I like the bull tip. I have way more control than I do with the brush tip. Plus, I like to do splattering with my Stampin' Blend, and it totally blows out your brush tip. All right, so now I'm going to do my blending. So I'm going to go back over, and I've got my circular motion going where I've got my dark highlights. And I'm just going to go over that with the light, kind of blend that in a little bit. And you can see where I've gone over the light more than once. And it might leave some lines. We'll see. Because like I said, as it dries, it kind of changes that up a little bit. Maybe we'll go a little bit over that too. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry for a moment. And if we have to add a little bit more light, we will. I'm gonna come back in with my dark. I forgot to cover his little scales here. So I'm gonna do his little scales on the top in the dark. Why not? I don't know if they would be dark, but in my mind, they should be. Okay. And I may have to color over that. Oh, I missed a spot with the light. Okay, I got to do it. I got to come back right in here. I missed his cheek. And I didn't do very good right in there. All right, so this is going to bother me. So I'm just going to do that real quick. That's going to bother me. So I'm going to do that real quick. Just another layer of that light colored right over it. All right, so I will be fine with that. All right, last die cut. Bring back in our baby boss. Okay. And again, put that right down on there. Add our little Jungle Pals die. This guy cracks me out. He has a mischievous face, I think. He's guilty of something. I don't know what it is. Okay, and then we're just going to lay this plate right on top and run that through. Hope for no shifting. Yay. Oh, nope, it shifted. Totally. Can you see? Well, you will in a minute. Yeah, totally shifted. But it's going to be okay. We'll trim that away because that one's going to drive me nuts because there's too much white space because it shifted quite a bit. Which is funny because I didn't think that one was going to shift at all. You just never know. You never know when it's going to happen. So it's okay. We're just going to trim some of that away. We can do it. It's not too difficult. It'll look like we fussy cut it. So yeah, so that's another thing is if you don't end up earning these dies, you can still get the stamp set and fussy cut stuff out. You just won't have all the extra fun elements, right? Of the extra grasses and the tree and the leaves. And I keep pulling this towards me, so you probably can't see. You know what? I think I'm going to leave the scales alone. That part doesn't bother me. And the part down the legs doesn't bother me. I'm going to leave those alone. At least it didn't cut him off. He's still usable, right? Maybe not my best one, but he's still usable. All right, so let's build our little collage on the front here. So I am going to take my Balmy Blue label, and I'm going to put my Granny Apple leaves right behind it. I'm going to have them sticking out, just kind of peeking out behind here. Okay, so let's put a little liquid glue. Hopefully I'm in camera still. Put a little liquid glue along the bottom here to get that down. Now we probably could put more glue than that, but I'm going to leave it at that for right this minute. Okay, so then I can place this and I can angle it. It really doesn't matter because you're not going to see the ends, right? You're only going to see what pokes out. So I really like that. That looks cute. So we'll go there. All right. And then let's put some liquid glue on these leaves here. And of course, this stupid camera closed off again. Perfect. So we'll put some liquid glue on these leaves. Just a smidge, right? Now I'm going to put this one down with liquid glue as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit down. It can sit and dry a little bit. Our liquid glue dries tacky, sorry. And so you'll still be able to put it down even if it's fully dry, which is a great trick if you don't like the adhesive oozing and stickiness. This is one of my reasons I'm not a huge fan of the liquid glue. All right, so we're going to put our 2 sets of leaves, and I'm going to kind of angle that a little bit. Cute. Oh, I meant to put this grass down first, but we can always lift and move and all that fun stuff. I'm going to layer this one. It's up a little bit, and I kind of want that to fall. Let's pull this leaf up. Since it's liquid glue, that is one benefit, is that you can kind of pull that up and put that on top if you'd like to. All right. It's coming together, slowly but surely coming together. All right, now let's put this little guy down with some dimensionals. Let's see, I've got these white ones over here. I'm going to be a little excessive with my dimensionals. Maybe 3, 4. Let's go 4. Why not? And I got one finger that's sticky, which makes me nuts. Okay, so we're going to put our little gator guy down. How cute is he? I think he's stinking cute. Let's go down a little bit more. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. What do you guys think? It's coming together? All right, now I want to put the heart on, and I want that to be above him, and I want a dimensional. So I'm going to use a large dimensional just at the bottom part. Because it's going to hang off. I don't want it too close to his snout. There we go. And then I need to put my lovely little flowers down. So one of them I'm going to put down with a dot of liquid glue. Okay, and the other one I'm going to use a dimensional. Let's use a baby dimensional because these are so little. I just threw some stuff on the floor, I guess, just so it go flying out. All right, so we will put this one down first, and let's kind of cover up our grassy edge there, right? And maybe I'll have those petals tuck underneath that little gator. That one I'm going to put there, okay? And then this one, I'm going to bring down a little bit, down and over, and kind of tuck that one right there. So I've got my two little gators right down there. Now, the next part, you can decide if you want to dimension on or if you want to put on flat, right? So you may feel that you've already, with the dimensionals behind here and dimensions here, that might be enough for you. You might feel like that's it. I don't want to go any further, especially since we're going to put some pearls. Or if you want to add some, right? That's how I look at it. So I'm going to go ahead and put some liquid glue. And I'm just leaving my fingers there so I kind of know where. I'm going to do that, right? And then because I popped up this layer, I am going to put dimensionals, ouch, on this outer part, there and there, okay? And then that should make this level, let's hope. Theory, that will be level. And I like it like that. Super cute. Super, super cute. All right, so let's take some of our little pink pearls, and I'm just going to use the big ones. Why not? Let's go all in. And we'll put one right there in the flower center. These are great for the flower centers, I think. And then one right there. Now, this is one that when I drop this in the mail, I would need to protect the front of this. So when I mail you guys stuff, I put a flyer in there. So it's protected by paper, right? Just folded up paper. But if I was going to mail this to a friend, I would put a piece of embossed cardstock. Doesn't have to be the Stampin' Up! Nice cardstock if you don't want to, although that's what I would probably use anyway. But you could use just some inexpensive cardstock and put in there and emboss it. And the reason you emboss it is because it adds that texture and height that will help protect all your stuff you've got going on here, right? Perfect. All right, so do you guys love these? So let me bring them back in. There's our gator. There's our little toucan. Again, we're showing a variety of kind of techniques, right? And then we're showing some different color combinations, some a little more masculine, some a little more feminine. You can use these for any occasion that you want to use them for, any sentiment you want to use them with. You know, you can go more baby, you can go more adult. It's just a really fun stamp set. And of course, you can mix and match it with all the other wonderful Sale-A Bration items that you can choose. You guys like it? Yes? All right, let's see if I can flip the camera back and we'll close out. I have got stuff, if you could see the piles that I have everywhere, you would be like, what in the world is this girl doing? It's crazy, 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 crazy. I got to tell you. All right, let's switch the camera. I'm probably looking exhausted at this point, right? Oh, I switched the camera, but I left my little, let's turn off my lights in the background so you don't see them glowing. There we go. It's still there, but not as bad. There we go. So there's those samples I was talking about. That's one of the presentations I'm doing for Maker's Mojo. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, did you guys enjoy today? I hope you did. I love that you came and spent actually a couple hours with me. What, an hour, 12:30? So an hour and 45 minutes or so? Yeah, yeah. But we made 4 fantastic cards that I hope that you guys love and that you'll recreate. So share your versions. And if you don't have the Jungle Pal stamp set, that's fine. Use what you've got at home and share your projects here in our online workshop. I'd love to see what you guys do. And if you've got a favorite, let me know. But I hope that you learned something new or reminded of something that you maybe hadn't tried in a while, to be able to do some crafty fun this weekend. Take a little time for you, right? It's important. It really is. It's good for our soul. It's good for our mind. It gives us a refresh. So, but if you've got questions on anything I mentioned, Forget Me Not, Cultivated Creativity, Maker's Mojo, the Order Special, Sale-A Bration, Becoming a Diamond. I'd love for you to join the Diamonds team if you're not already a demonstrator. Let me know and I will be happy to answer any of those questions. So again, if you use the host code X29YN7RN by Monday, I'm going to close that off on Monday, then you will get the hand stamp card in the mail along with the tutorial. And then of course you get the packets if your order goes over 50 plus Sale-A Bration rewards. Yay! Now, if anybody would like to do this and be the host, I would love to do one for you, be your demonstrator and do an online workshop for you and your friends, right? How fun would that be? Yeah, just getting together online. It's always a good time. We can gather from all over, right? All right. Thank you guys again for joining me and hanging in there with me on my crazy camera. Goodness gracious. All right. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And I hopefully will see many of you for our paper crafting class on Tuesday at 12:30 Eastern. Join me on my YouTube channel. I'll be there. Thanks. Bye for now.